So you've set up your website and your social media accounts. You've added some pictures, some text, and some links. You're adding new content to your website every day. But how can you be sure that what you're doing is working? Today, we'll talk about analytics and how to make the most of them. So what are analytics? This is where you can see how many people are looking at your content and what types of posts draw the most eyes. It's not enough just to check your analytics. You've got to understand them and think critically about them and make changes based on what you're seeing. We'll get into how you can most effectively do this later on, but first, let's start off with the basics. Starting off with Google Analytics. This is where you can check where traffic to your website is coming from and what posts are doing the best. Google Analytics has a wealth of information that can tell you about how things on your website are doing. Here on the Real-Time tab, you can see who's on your website right now and where they're visiting from. Some more useful tabs you can see here is the Audience tab. Here, you can see what devices people are visiting your websites from. Think about it. Based on these numbers, should you be optimizing the content on your site for mobile users or desktop users? You can also see where your audience is from. Are you building more of a local niche or drawing from a nationwide audience? You can also see the age group that is drawn to your website and what kind of things they're interested in. Another feature you should be thinking about in your analytics is what content does best on your website every week. You can check this here under Behavior and Site Content. Using this information, you can find out what kind of stories and content are doing best on your website every week. Is it sports, movie reviews, breaking news? Using this, you can find out what your audience wants to see and post more of it. Finally, check out the Acquisitions tab. This will tell you how many of your viewers are coming from what source. How many are coming from social media? It's probably a pretty big chunk. Let's find out how you can get more viewers from social media using Twitter and Facebook Analytics. You'll find Twitter Analytics under the More tab on Twitter Desktop. Things on Twitter Analytics are broken down by month. Here at the top of the page, you'll see a quick overview as to how you did this month compared to last month. Under the Top Tweets tab, you can get a look at what tweets have been getting the most impressions and engagements overall in the past month. As you can see, tweets as images are the tweets that have been doing really well. You can also export your data from Twitter, which will be very helpful in identifying different trends in your analytics. While Twitter doesn't offer you as many options and insights as Google does, exporting them is a great way to see what's working and what isn't. Look for what gets the most impressions. Media tweets will probably do well. Also look at how many link clicks you're getting. You don't want your users to just look at the headlines. You want them to click on your website. So look at what does best and write your headlines based on that. Finally, let's talk about Facebook Analytics. You'll find this under the Insights tab of the Facebook website. Here, you'll see an overview of what happened in the past week, how many likes you've been getting, and what kind of engagement you've been getting on your posts. Check out what's been going on the Audience tab. Here you can see what the demographics of your page look like. Your audience might be younger on Facebook than you think. How are you going to cater your content towards them? It's also a good idea, as with the previous platforms, to take a look at what's been getting the most views and engagements on Facebook. Facebook offers you the least options for tracking data and exporting it, so you'll really have to be keeping good track of this yourself. What type of posts are getting the most engagement, and what sort of links are getting the most clicks? Once you've looked at your analytics, it's time to make a plan for what to do with them. Set up a meeting each week with the team working on your website and social media platforms, where you can talk about what happened that week and make a plan for what you want to change next week. Make sure that you're keeping track of everything with a spreadsheet or document that everyone can access. Now it's time to change things up. Alter how you write your headlines, what sort of images you're posting, what time of day you're posting, and keep track of how this changes things or doesn't. You can also share this data out with everyone else in your organization so that they know how to cater their writing, photos, and other content in a way that's digital friendly and will make sure what they're doing is getting seen online. Make sure that every member of your team is engaged in what you're working on. While you don't want to make people write just for clicks, consider some system of reward for people whose work is consistently performing well on your social media platforms. You can also divvy up the work. Assign one person to be following Twitter Analytics closely, another for Facebook, and another to be checking what's going on your website. By using analytics in a smart way, you're sure to see improvement in the amount of likes, clicks, and traction you're getting online. That's all for this week. Be sure to give us a follow on Instagram @CampusCrier and check out our website. See you next time.